you're playing on NBA 2K, what team are you picking?
Yeah, for sure the Timberwolves.
What about FIFA?
FIFA, probably Barcelona.
We have a Max Exsted interview today. 2024 and 2025 Australian Open Juniors doubles champ. Legend of the game. From Minnesota originally. I actually played against his brother back in high school. I didn't play him personally, but he was on Shakopee, Minnesota. They were in the same conference as Red Wing. So we played their team. He was super sick, his brother. And then Max traveled down to Florida, kind of committed to playing tennis at like 13 years old, I believe. And yeah, has had some success, has a lot of success, and willing to sit down with us. Super excited to get into it. David might come. He might be. Maybe he's going to come. But I'm super pumped for this Max Exsted interview. Yo, what up, Max?
What's up? How's it going?
It's going pretty good. Thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, let's get right into it. Yes, super sorry about I panicked there for a second.
No.
Like, oh shoot, Max spends a good amount of time down in Florida as well. Training. So I guess that leads me to my first question.
Mm-hmm.
You transitioned down when you were like 12, 13 down to Florida. What was your inspiration for kind of taking tennis on full time and really, trying to go essentially like pro, making it?
I mean, always as like a young kid, I had like big dreams, and I was pretty good from a young age, so I kept trying to follow those dreams. And my sister actually, she wanted to become a pro also, and when she was like 14, she went down to train in Florida. She moved down there at an academy, Bill Adams Tennis Academy, and I would go like down there periodically. But then like 13, like right before COVID, we decided be better to go train down in Florida, and then I trained in Miami for a little bit, and then Orlando for a couple of years. So yeah, that's kind of just how it happened.
Was it a specific person who you connect with down there, and you're like, okay, we want to train with this person, or is it just like, hey, we want to be down in an area where we can play tennis all the time?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like a specific person, I'd say. I mean, just like through my dad had some connections through some other like tennis parents and like stuff, and yeah, we just knew we wanted to like be down there. Like you hear like Florida's like the place to be, so yeah.
And in the USTA, you always hear of certain tennis organizations, like their federal tennis organizations, whether it be like Russia or Italy, United States. When they have talent in their pool, they try to support them. Have you been able to get like kind of in the USTA and kind of get support from the USTA?
Yeah, so around like right after COVID, they like I've been invited to like some camps, since they like arrange like small camps when I was like 11, 12. But they invited me to come to Orlando to train. And I went there a couple of different times, and then there were times where I was there for like 3, 4 weeks in a row, and then eventually like I kind of like moved, I guess, there, and I was training there for a good like 2, 3 years. So yeah, they helped me a lot, especially when I was there.
Yeah. Do they like help you or put you up in like dorms or something like there? Or are you living like with your family down there?
No, yeah, they have dorms there. Now that I'm 18, if I was going there, I wouldn't be able to go. But if you're under 18, they have dorms like right on site. It's pretty easy and it's pretty good.
That was one of my other questions is when you turn 18, do you get the boot from the benefits of the USTA? Do they support you? I mean, they've got to have some sort of support system after, but how does that change? Like what are the benefits
Um,
before 18 and after?
well, now I'm training in Spain. I kind of made that decision like mid last year. And I think if I were to go back, they'd still support me. I'd still be able to train there for sure. But I think I'd probably have to like find like an apartment or something like that.
Sure. And in Spain, you're training at the Rafa Nadal Tennis Academy in
Hmm.
Mallorca, which is super sick.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm getting married in Spain this summer in July, and we're
Wow.
we're spending
Congrats.
our honeymoon time. Well, it's like a week after in Mallorca.
Yeah. Oh, really? That's super
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I
Nice.
have some ties to Spain. I spent my college or a college semester there, whatnot. But
Oh,
so
great.
do you get to travel around Spain when you're there?
Um, around the island a little bit. But yeah, when we get the chance, me and my friends around the island a little bit.
Any recommendations?
Um, I don't know the island too well just yet,
Yeah.
but Palma is like, I guess the place to be. Um, where the academy is it's in Manacor. It's like a
Okay.
30-minute drive from Palma. Palma's where the airport is, but there's not like a ton in Manacor besides like the academy, but the academy is super nice. And yeah, I mean the beaches are really good. It's like one of the top vacation spots I know in like
Yeah.
all the world.
Um, and what drew you to that academy?
Like I was training in the USCA, and I had a great time there, lots of great people, but I felt like I kind of needed a change, and um you see like when you go to ITF tournaments, you see some coaches and like you see like lots of different players and academies, and I decided I wanted to like I had been in Spain a couple times in Barcelona training, and I've kind of liked the Spanish like training style, I guess. I thought it was good when I went to Barcelona, and so I tried out Rafael Academy, and also one of my friends, Darwin Blanche, was training in Ferrero. Another American, Styles Brockett, was training in Ferrero. So decided to try those two, and then I decided to go to the Rafa Nadal Academy.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Spanish style and kind of how they do things. How do they do things? Like what about their style is something you
It's,
like?
I mean, it's just a little bit different. I mean, I don't know how to like fully describe it, but just like I don't know the way they like techniques a little bit like different, a little bit like they're more calm and different, a little bit different drills, but it isn't like a super big change. It's just yeah.
And I saw that you got to hit with Rafa a little bit
Hmm.
recently in the last few months. One, how is that? And two, I'm always like curious, like how, it's his academy, of course. How much is he involved on? Like, how often do you see a guy like that? Because he's obviously so busy.
Yeah, so I mean, he's lived there all of his life, so now that he's retired, I think he's still gonna be like a part of the academy and like he's still like in the community. But yeah, hitting with him was like it was like once in a lifetime opportunity. Like being able to hit with one arguably the greatest players of all time was like mind blowing. Um, so yeah, I mean, it was a great experience hitting with him. Getting to experience just sharing a court with him, and yeah, I mean, he kind of pops in the academy like day to day, not day to day, but like randomly a little bit. I'm sure he's really busy traveling a lot. He's a kind of a businessman now too. He has lots of businesses. So um, yeah, I mean, if he drops in like here and there, like a couple months ago, he was on the court like giving us some tips and stuff, which is still like I feel extremely grateful and like we're really lucky. So yeah.
Is there any other top players? I know you just mentioned. I think it was. Is it Darwin Blanche?
Yeah.
I know I've seen his name. I think he got like he might have got like a big tournament draw. I'm sure you know because you're friends with him. But he's left. Is he lefty?
Yeah, yeah. So Darwin, he trains at Juan Carlos Ferrero, the other academy I tried. But yeah, he played Rafa in like Madrid. Like he got like a wild card into Masters 1000 Madrid, and he played him like 2 years ago, maybe.
Yeah,
He
that's so
left there.
devastating. So
Yeah,
devastating to draw him. It's also kind of cool though too. But
yeah.
are there any other top players that you've played with at the academy?
Yeah, at the academy, and for my age, there's like around, I'd say there's like five of us that's in like the top 30, top 40 for ITF. So we kind of train here like together. And then here and there, there's like, we still have some pro guys that come in randomly. And there's also Coleman Wong, who's like around 150 ATP. A couple of those guys around there that come in.
I watched a 25 minute interview. I think it was on Fox. I think it was called Unscripted.
Hmm.
And you talked about how you worked on the mental side of your game over the last few years. What specifically have you done to work on it?
Yeah, I mean, I think the mental side is like something you always still have to keep improving. Like, I've improved on it like a good amount, I'd say the past couple of years, but still like there's like still more space to grow. And I think like the mental side, especially in tennis, is like what separates like the good players or the average players from the great players. And yeah, I mean, I have two mental coaches I'm working with. One of the USTA, the federation, and then one at the Rafael Nadal Academy, and they've helped me a lot. And yeah, just working on like visualizing and how I'm gonna deal like with situations during the matches. Like if I'm not playing great, things aren't going well, how I can deal with that, how I can stay positive. And yeah, it's still like a day to like day thing, to keep working on like your mindset. And it's not something I feel like where like it's like, okay, I'm good. You still have to like keep improving. And
Mhm.
yeah.
And there's not ever just like one thing where it's like, okay, like I need to work on this like one thing, but the mental side of tennis is, one of those bigger things for sure. um
Yeah.
um is there like specific like, exercise? I know like I've done some visual, I can never say that word,
Yeah. Yeah.
visualization in the past where it's like repeating the same 15-minute thing. It's like an activity, and that's what I've done in the past. What sort of exercises, or is it like a therapy session where you're talking with them about your previous week? Like what
Yeah,
is?
I think there's lots of different ways to do it. I think whatever like works for you. I think for me, like what I've been doing like recently, like before I play, is just like um I took it like from Michael Phelps, one of the greats. Was just like he said before a big swim match, or he would visualize like what he doesn't want to happen, like what's realistically like gonna happen, and then what he wants to happen. So like um just for like 2-3 minutes each like situation, and then I feel like pretty ready like going on the court, because if you go out there and you go down a break like 1-3 or 0-3 or 0-2 or whatever, things aren't going your way, you're still like you're kind of ready for it, I guess you can say. And yeah, visualization is like it's important. Like you look, there's a reason like the top athletes and the top like um people in the world, they have lots of confidence in themselves, and they visualize. And yeah, they kind of manifest like who they want to become. And yeah.
In one example of you, in I would say the mental side of tennis works better in singles than doubles, and
Yeah.
you had some really, really good results in both, of course. But
Hmm.
you won the junior championships or the Grand Slam in Australia in 2024. Repeated with a different partner. You were playing with Cooper, your buddy Cooper, for the first year in 2024. What's Cooper's last name? I don't.
Woestendick.
Woestendick, and then 2025 you followed it up with Jan
Hmm.
Kumstat.
Kumstat. Yeah,
Yeah.
Kumstat. Yeah.
So I mean, there's one thing here and one constant thing here, and it's you. You're in
Yeah.
both finals, and can you talk me through your run in 2025, because I think that is the sign of your mental
Yeah.
toughness.
No, for sure. I mean, the mental, it's like definitely singles is more like it's like a dog fight. It's just one versus one, who's kind of gonna come out. But doubles, you can have a little bit more fun with it. You have someone there. It's like a little not as serious. But yeah, I mean, in 2025, me and Jan, we like decided to play the Tralagon, the warm up tournament, and then we made the finals there. We lost in the final, but we start. It was just a good week. First time playing with each other, and then in AO we drew a tough team first round. I was kind of dealing with a little bit of a adductor injury that week. I tore like a small muscle in my adductor. Like we figured out after the tournament, but yeah, the first round we went down 6-3, I think it was, and the other guys were serving big. I wasn't feeling great, and then we found a way to come back, and we took the second set, and then we kind of played lights out in the breaker, and then throughout the week, I just felt like we dealt with like a lot of tough situations really well. In the quarterfinals, we saved 2 match points. We were down 9-7 in the breaker, came back to win 11-9. My partner Jan hit two like incredible. At 9-all, he hit a forehand pass winner, and then he hit a return winner to win the match. And then in the semifinals, at 8-all, like there's this point that like went kind of viral on Ao's Instagram. At 8-all, I was in a forehand cross rally, and I went forehand line, and I hit a winner. And then Jan at 9-8 came into the net, and we ended up winning that point. We were down 7-4 in that breaker, so another match we came back from, and then the finals, we won straights, but we saved a set point in the first set. So yeah, I think we dealt with like the situations well, and yeah, we believed in ourselves, and yeah, I mean that's all you can do at the end of the day.
Are there any other results, besides those two tournaments? Because obviously those two are like very, noteworthy ones, just because like they're a Grand Slam, that you're proud of, or that you kind of think of like, oh, that tournament when we won this, it was sick.
Yeah, last year, um, me and Cooper we were playing pretty much the whole year together, and we won one of the bigger, probably the biggest tournament besides the Grand Slams J500 Milan. Yeah, we had like a great streak going on. I haven't been able to play with him this year or recently, but hopefully we'll be able to play sometime. But yeah, we had a great streak going on in the beginning of the year.
And when you're kind of vetting for a doubles partner, what exactly are you looking for? Because I'm sure you and Cooper or whoever partner don't play every single time. Like, how do you connect with these other guys?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of just you kind of learn, and you see people at tournaments, and yeah, I mean, Jan, I knew, like, I didn't know him like as like a friend or like a person really, but the reason I've known Jan for a couple of years, but Jan beat me and Cooper in the semifinals of Wimbledon last year. So, that was a really tough match, but you see the guys at the tournaments, and yeah, I mean, you can see who's playing on the acceptance list, and yeah.
And you won 6 USTA gold balls. This is a reference from Grok, so I don't know if it's correct, but USTA gold balls. What's a gold ball?
It's like, um, yeah. So in USGA, I haven't played USGA in a while, but especially when I was younger, I was playing only USGA. So basically, they have like I think it's 4 national championships each year. They have like the indoor, the Easter Bowl, Winter Nationals, Kalamazoo, and clay court. So 5. Those are all national tournaments, and if you win, they have the divisions 12s, 14s, 16s, 18s. If you win one of the national championships, you get a gold ball. And yeah, I when I was younger, I got a couple of those.
Okay, so that was more in your younger years.
hmm
Um, is there do you have any like specific hobbies or interests that you do outside of tennis?
Outside of tennis, I just like to hang out with friends a lot. I play some video games when I can.
What video games?
Recently, I've been playing like FIFA because me and my roommate in Spain is what like the only new game we have. But I used to play like lots of like NBA 2K like a couple years ago. I'm a big like NBA fan and big Timberwolves guy. So
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and they're in the playoffs right now. They just won their first series against. Have they started their second series?
no, I think they're gonna play on Tuesday
You're
next.
playing on NBA 2K. What team are you picking?
Yeah, for sure the
Yeah.
Timberwolves.
What about FIFA?
FIFA probably Barcelona. I mean, I'm
Uh,
not the biggest like soccer or football guy. But yeah, I like playing. It's a pretty fun game.
have you been or are you ever trying to go to a Barca game?
Yeah, I've been when I was training in Barcelona in like 2022. I went with my dad and another guy I was training with. We went to one of those games, and it was a really cool atmosphere.
Yeah. And one other kind of interesting thing, kind of bringing it back to tennis that I was thinking about before our interview is you get to play, the junior Australian, U.S. Open, Wimbledon. For Wimbledon, it's on grass, and there's not a ton of preparation. I guess like a lot of courts out there that exist with grass. What kind of preparation before that tournament do you do for prep?
Yeah, no, it's like it's the only 2 tournaments on grass the whole year. Like I've never really up until I played in 2023, like the I played qualies. Um, and I've only played 4 tournaments on grass my whole life. Like the past 2, they both are Wimbledon and Roehampton last year. So it's tough to like prepare. You kind of have to like mimic the movements. It's tough to move on grass. The ball bounces lower. The balls are like a bit heavier. But yeah, I mean, it's like you can't really prepare that much, but you do your best as you can, and then when you get there, it's you try to you know get acclimated.
Yeah. Do you work with any sponsors currently in the tennis world?
Yeah, I work with I Babolat for rackets, and then I work with Adidas also for clothes, and I use this brand RTP for my grips. And yeah, those are my sponsors now.
What do you find a product and you really like and you're like, hey, and you reach out to them, hey, can I, be under your brand? Or is it they reach out to you?
It's kind of like yeah, I mean, it's kind of like they reach out to you. But it kind of depends. You can like apply, but if you're yeah at like the bigger tournaments, they have scouts and stuff, and they reach out to you, kind of.
And then when they come out with like new rackets and stuff like that, like what if it doesn't fit your game? Like what do you do? Like if you have a
Yeah.
racket that you really like, do you have to switch? Like how does that work?
That's like that hasn't happened to me, but that's happened to a couple of my friends. Um, Eventually, like they're gonna want you to switch, and one of my friends actually like changed for like racket brands just because like he didn't like the new one. So it's kind
Hmm.
of tough. Like the top players, I think it's not really a problem for them. They get to create kind of what they want, but for us like the juniors, you kind of just have to figure it out a little
Yeah.
bit.
What and you use Babolat. What specific racket of the Babolat brand do you use?
I use the Babolat Pure Aero 100. Um, yeah, I really like the racket. Last year I changed the 98, and then I changed back at the end of the year for the 100. And yeah, it gives me a good like spinning control, and I really like it.
What's the square inches on it? What do you string it at?
Um,
It's
I'm
not that.
honestly not sure what
Yeah,
the square
it,
inches is.
that's so nerdy of me to say because I truly don't really care. But like, do you know what you string it at or no?
Yeah. I string at. It depends, like kind of what where I'm going or the conditions, but I string at 52.
Okay. Yeah, I was at 60. I think I was at like 61,
Okay.
and my elbow just got
Yeah.
destroyed.
Yeah.
So I had to go down to 50. I think like 3 years ago. But have you ever had any like nagging injuries because tennis is such a consistent sport?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, um, it's such like it's kind of like a battle out there, especially in singles. There's always, especially if you get late into a tournament, there's probably that's gonna be like a small nagging injury on you, but probably your opponent too. They probably have had some battles throughout the week, and it's all about kind of like managing it and knowing like, okay, this injury is gonna make me like even more injured or gonna make me, out for a couple weeks, or then you'd probably scale it back and retire or something. But you kind of have to manage it and kind of deal with it, depending on how it is.
Mhm. And in managing that's obviously a big deal because like that's ultimately your body is what's creating the work.
Hmm.
Um, um, and I guess this kind of goes back to maybe the USTA, not national campus or the Nadal Academy. Um, what what other support, they give you mental side of stuff? Do they do any sort of like media training or like social media growing? Because obviously like your brand is also important for your success as well. Like you might earn your way as a wild card, or for
Hmm.
example, if you're a more popular player
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a Nick Kyrgios.
Um, for media training, I did like one like media training like kind of class like a couple of years ago, but I guess I mean I kind of just like learn on the way.
Mhm.
Try to do my best. It's not gonna be perfect, but just try and like I guess be myself and yeah.
Yeah, and being around the top players in the world and up and comers, you're gonna be able to see and learn through imitation as well, just because like
Yeah.
everyone around you is just super super top talent. Um,
Hmm.
what's like next for you? What are your plans? Coming up in this year and in years coming.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna fly back to Spain in a couple of days, train on the clay for about like a week and a half, and then I'm going to play J500 in Milan, and then eventually I'll be playing Roland Garros and then Wimbledon um, in the next coming months, and then for the rest of the year I'm gonna be probably playing like some some juniors, but trying to mix up like a lot of futures and like 15K and 25K tournaments to try and like maximize my pro ranking and get some points there. So next year I'll be playing just pro events, so I'll be finished with juniors, so I can have like good ranking to start off with.
So you can play those tournaments, you just can't accept money, but you can get the points. That's essentially what you're saying.
You can accept money.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like right now as a junior, you're okay to accept money and everything like that?
As a junior, yeah, you can accept like a certain amount of money
Okay.
before, like, I guess it's like in the US they call it like turning pro. They don't really do that in like Europe, but yeah.
Okay. Interesting. And to finish up, again, thank you so much for
Yeah.
coming on. Do you have any particular shout outs or any shout outs that you want to put out into the world for anyone?
Um, no, I mean, I guess shout out my family, you know.
Yeah, there we go.
They've helped me to become the person who I am, so shout out to them.
Yeah. I guess one last thing. Your brother Alex,
Yeah.
he played at Northern Colorado, I think it was,
Yeah.
and we played them. They traveled to Fargo because they played UND,
Uh,
and then they played us, and they just crushed us. I thought in my head I played your brother, but I looked back at the results and I did not. But yeah. Anyways, thank you so much
yeah, yeah.
for coming on,
Yeah,
Max.
thank you. Appreciate it.